Good morning, ladies. We're not actually going to be making a card today. Well, I'll rephrase that. I'm not showing you how to make a card today. I'm showing you how to make the pieces to put on it. We're going to be doing flowers today. And flowers are nice. Like if you see them flat, I mean, that's fine. That's lovely. Put it all together. Put a bit in the centre, but it's flat. It doesn't look like a flower. And that's what you can do with that. Start with this one. This is a Creative Expressions die I've had for a long, long time. It has stamps to go with it, but I'm not using the stamps today. And it cuts out a load of flowers in different sizes and a couple of leaves as well. So I've cut out 4 of this, so I've got 4 of each size, and I used on this one flower, I used 3 different sizes, so it's the big one, the next size down, and the next size down. And I've played about with the petals, and then I've pointed them up the way. Okay, exactly the same flower, exactly the same petals, and I've made the petals go in the way. So it's 2 totally different flowers. Gives it just a wee bit of movement. This one was, I used 3 of the big petals. I got my bone folder, and once I'd coloured them, in fact I can let you see it with this one, I coloured them with oxide ink. This one is Seedless Preserve, and then I used a lilac in the centre, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. But I just got my bone folder and I broke down the fibres of the card. Now, this is a good practice for you, because if you pull the petals off, you're doing it too hard. If you're not getting a curl, you're not doing it hard enough. So it is a good way to learn how to use your bone folder. So again, just break down the fibres. It helps give it a wee bit of movement. Okay, and then I'll show you how I did it. Now, if you don't have the daubers, if you've got one of these kitchen sponges, just cut it down into bits, and that gives you, and I'll show you what I mean. So I've just wrapped that up so that I've got a rounded edge. Take some of my ink, and just go in. And I'm using circular motions. Okay. Then take another one. And I've got the shaded lilac. And I'm just going to do the same again. Just wrap it up in my fingers so that I've got like a ball. Take some of the ink, and I'm going to just dab. This is going to give it a like an airbrushed look. So that's all over, and this is just dabbing, just to give it a softer look. And I'm actually dabbing it into where the burgundy is, but I want the centre stronger, so just dab a wee bit stronger there. Okay, then again, get my bone folder. You would actually wait until this is dry because it'll be all over my fingers. Just leave it a few minutes to dry, or use your heat gun just to dry it off. Then I'm going to get my embossing mat and turn it around the other way. Now I'm going to use a 6mm ball tool, and I'm going to just go round the edge of each petal. So it's just round the edge. And this helps to give it a wee bit of shape. Because if you look at flowers, a lot of the petals, they're not flat. They've got a wee bit of shape to them. Now, if you don't have big dies like this, and then right in the centre, and that gives it a wee bit of life. But if you, what I was saying is, if you don't have big dies like this, you can do this with smaller dies as well. I'm just using the big die because it was easier to let you see what I was doing. And last one. Turn it over and give it a go round in circles in the centre, and it just gives it a wee bit of life. So I've used 3 petals. Okay. And then they get glued together. I've got loads of bottles of glue sitting here today because I've just got wee bits in each and I want to use them up. Then you offset that. Wee bit glue again and offset the third one. And I'm just going with my big ball tool and I'm pushing in. Now what I did with the centre of this one was I put, this is Nuvo drops. And I wanted a big dollop in it. And I've got these, it's like, they're like little strings, and it's a holographic plastic. It's like glitter, but it's actually plastic. And if you pour that in, get a bit of paper. So do it. And it makes it very, if you can see, it makes it very effective. Just like a stamen in the centre. Right. Put this away before I get it all over the place. But you could use glitter, clear glitter, if you use the green, because it will shine through and it just gives it a wee bit of sparkle. So that's the first flower. I'll set that up there so you can see it. The second one is this one. And we're going to do the one coming out. So I'll finish off. Now I'm going to use my dauber because I can, because I've got them. And I'm just rubbing it on the end of the petal. You could do this with this as well. You just rub it on the end of the petal. But as I say, I've got the daubers, so I'm just as well using them. And do with that lid. It's under there. And then I've got a yellow. And it is. This is Wild Honey. And again, I'm just dabbing it just to give it like a, so it's got an airbrushed look, but I want it stronger in the centre. And that's, so it's thinner, it goes on thinner on the outside, but you want it thicker on the centre. Okay, so that's easy enough. I'll let that one dry for a minute, bring my, right. So again, I want to break down the fibres. So just use my bone folder just to break down the fibres in the petals. Now, if you've got the, what do you call them? The shaping moulds, the basic shaping mould, do that. Do your flowers in that if you want. It just gives them a wee bit of life. So, yeah, right, so we're doing the one coming out, aren't we? So I'm going to be able to use, I think this is a 5mm now. Yeah, 5mm. And I've got the right side facing me. And I'm going to go on the outside of the petal, all the way around. And because you've broken down the fibres on the other side, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I've broken down all the petals, and all I want to do is squash it up the way. So it's just like when you're doing your poinsettias, you nip it at the end. So in between my thumb and my finger, I'm just squashing it in. And then use a big one again. And I'm not going to do it really. I'm just going round in circles just to give it that wee bit of shape. It will flatten out a bit. So again, with my 5mm, if you don't have different size ball tools, if you just remember to use it on the very edge, it just breaks down the fibres of the card. So you're not wanting to do it all over, you're just wanting to do it on the edge, because that's the only place that you're wanting to break down the fibres. Okay, and again, just nip it at the ends. So you've got your fingers on the ends, but you're kind of pushing it up the way as well. And there you go. And just give it a... And that brings it up and gives it a wee bit of shape. And I'm using the same size on all three sizes of the petals. It really doesn't matter, but you don't want to be chopping and changing. There we go. And then again, just a big ball tool. And then get my glue. And again, offset it. And offset it. Now, with this one, I put in stamen. So, just get your pokey tool and make a hole in the centre. And I used I used 3. So just took 3 of the double-ended ones and cut them in half. And sometimes it's not so very easy to poke them through, so it's maybe better to just do them individually. And if you feel that you don't have enough room to get your third one in, just make the hole slightly bigger and poke your third one in. Maybe not as big as that, but never mind. Right, you can see how far you're wanting, and then just put a wee bit of glue on the back and fold your stamen down on it, and you'll not see that once it's on a card. So that's your second one. This one you do it the opposite way. So you run round it on the back side, and then instead of pinching it, I took my tweezers and just gave it a turn on the end with my tweezers, and that poked it in the way. So that's number 2. This one here, I used 4. I used 2 of the large size, 1 of the next size down. I did have another one. That's the next size down, isn't it? So I'll do this one. But I did have one ready. And this is this, no, this is this picked raspberry. This one's called, and this is my, and I only went into the ends with this. No, I didn't. Did it? Yes, I did. I only went into the ends. But I did both sides. There's method in my madness for this one. So I've done both sides of each of my petals, as you can see. And again, it is essential that you break down the fibres so that you've got a bit of movement on your flowers. So if you do that with them all, and I've actually done this the wrong way. It should have been up the way I did this. So the wrong side facing me, and you can tell which is the wrong side and which is the right side, because the right side will have the nice edge on it where it's been cut, and this is the bit that's not, the edge of the die is not cut into it, so you know that's the wrong side. Right, so on the wrong, oh, haven't done this one, no. And because the petals are sticking up the way, that's why I'm doing it on both sides. Okay, and then my last one. And I should have a small one with, here it is. I've done in yellow of one of the small petals. Now, I've got that. Now I'm going to take a fairly small ball tool, and on the right side, from the centre, I'm running right up so I'm actually embossing a line into it, and I'm leaving it about 3 mil, 4 mil from the edge. Right, then the other end, and I'm concentrating more on this part, and that's what makes it curl. If I was to take that right to the end, that'll just make it go flat again. But it's just this part I want. So from the centre to just into the petal and no more. And that's what makes it curl in. So that's number 1. So again, from the centre, just make a line. use your other end. There we go. And you do that on all 4 of them. And then just and your centre ones is going to curl even more than the bigger ones. See? Now this one, I'm going to take my little scissors and I'm going to snip twice into each petal. Just to the start of the petal. Okay, get my ball tool. And that's going to go right in the centre. Okay, so some glue. Again, offset it. Sometimes easier to put it on. It's not very straight, that one. Stupid. I have to wonder sometimes why I've got glue. Don't do that again, feeling it. Just make sure it's right in the centre. And then a wee bit of glue. I'll use my tweezers for this one. And put that one in. And then get my green Nuvo drops, and that's that one. Now, you'll see that that one's opened up. It will, just with sitting, it's opened up. So that one is quite tight just now, but it will open up once it sits, once it dries out and it stretches itself again. Right, this one, I did 4 all of the same size, and I've coloured them back and front with yellow. And I've fringed all the petals. Now, the further you go into the petal, the more it will curl. So I want this one, it's going to be right in the centre, so I want this one to curl quite a bitty. So I'm going to take it past the start of the, and I'm what's known as fringing my petals. So it's just cutting in. Right, And again, too big. Where is it? There it is. And the more you go round, the more it will curl up. So just put that in, put glue on it and put it in. Now, if I cut out different things, and there's like different dies, and there are circles, I save them, especially if they're these bigger ones, because they make brilliant centres for flowers. So I'm just going to use my big ball tool and just give it a wee bit more shape. And I'm going to put quite a big blob of glue in because you want it to grab on. Use my tweezers. And just push that in. And that will actually flatten out a bitty. It won't flatten out much, but it will flatten out a bitty. If you feel it's flattening out too much, just get your tweezers and give it a twist in. And that's why you do it on both sides. And when it's dry, you can... That's another different kind of flower. And that's all using the one die set. There's also petals, and there is big ones and small ones. And I used a lime green and bundled sage. And I also used, on the small ones, I didn't use the twisted citron. I used the bundled sage. And then I used Lucky Clover on the very end. And then what was left on my dauber, I just went round the edges with them with the Lucky Clover. And again, just get your ball tool. Give it a wee bit of shape. And as you can see, I'm going all over this, just to break down the fibres. And it just gives it a wee bit of shape, because leaves, again, a lot of leaves are not flat. If you feel that you want to have veins in it, just get your very thin ball tool and just run it up. On the back side, and you'll see it gives it slight veins. And there you go. And that gives it a wee bit of shape. So when you're putting your flowers on, you've got a wee bit of shape underneath. Now I've also got these ones. This is from a Heartfelt Creations set. And again, I went with the lime in the centre and the bundled sage on the outside. And these I would put through my... I've got the mould to go with it. So I would put this through my mould. So it just fits in like that. I don't I've finished colouring my other one, did I? No, I didn't. Because I was going to let you see how I did it. So, just the bundled sage. Oh, getting pink all over it. Bundled sage. That's what you've got to watch. You didn't cross-contaminate you. And I want all my stems with the bundled sage as well. There we go. And that would go in there like that. Make sure it's right in. Give it a wee bit of spritz. Put it on. I get my plates from the machine. Not getting this to work today. See, that's moved in that. That's mangled it all up. But that one's fine. And that one's fine. And how lifelike do they look? Absolutely brilliant. These are one of my favourite leaves. And that's the Heartfelt Creations one. So, I'd like to see what you can do with making flowers. You can make just the one kind if you want. But I've given you a few different ideas. I've used other dyes for these ones. This was a petunia dye. And I used, Eileen, you and I spoke about this ink a few weeks ago. I used the Brilliance ink, which is an archival pigment ink. It's like your embossing ink. It's thick, but it's coloured. And these ones have 3 different colours in each thing. Mine were very dry. So I just took my wee bottle of glycerin, put a wee daub of glycerin on each, and I've revived them. You can do that with your clear embossing ink pads as well. Use your glycerin, just about size O, not even as big as a 5p. Spread it all round, leave it sitting overnight, and it's good to go. You've got a brilliant, it fairly revives your ink pads. And these are like new again, and I've had these for a lot of years. So I used them, and the reason I like these ones is because when it dries with like a sheen, and I think they're just beautiful. That's my preferred, and that's I think that was a Magnolia dye set, and I ran these ones through my basic shaping mould. That's why they've got such good contours on them. And then I made wee daisies with, I can't remember what one this was. And I've just used a small cutout that was from one of my other sets. Coloured it yellow and stuck it in the centre. You can use it's not pin flare, what do you call it? A Flower Soft or glitter, yellow glitter if you've got that, or Nouveau drops. You can use anything in the centre that you want. You can even use a pearl if you want. Colour it yellow, and that's you got your centre for your daisies. But just giving you a few ideas just how to make flowers with I wanted to show you one set, and that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 different flowers I've made from that one set of flowers, and I cut it out 4 times, and I've still got loads left to make other flowers if I want. So you show me what you can do with this, and I'll show you what I do, because I'll make a card as well. Okay, happy crafting.